Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 104. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I'm Todd Oxtra, joined by the Canadian, the returning champion, my friend. It's good to have you back.
It's good to be back. It's good to feel mostly better, not 100%, but forgive me if I cough a little bit. My voice is mostly back. It's still a little raspy, but I'll make do, and we'll have a good show.
Yeah, you've been struggling with a little bit of illness. The family stuff is going on with you. Got a kid, everybody shares. You had to miss Holocron. You guys took a week off. You missed when I had Leon. So yeah. The promise is to bring Becky on next. So we'll be looking to do that. We're gonna have some fun guests. But Mark, the important question now is, yes, did you get anything cool gaming related for Christmas?
I got gaming related. What did I get? A Game Pass Ultimate renewal, mainly. So, the gift that keeps on giving, really. That's pretty much it. I got myself an Xbox charger, like a controller, rechargeable battery. It has like 4 slots in it. I'll talk about that one on the next episode because I want to test it a little bit.
Sure. Before
I give kind of a full review on it. I mainly I want to test to make sure the battery lasts as long as it says it does, kind of thing. I got a Korok plushie.
Oh, nice. I think I saw that.
My son has kind of taken over. What about yourself? What did you get any fun gaming stuff?
Well, my wife got me this shirt, so it's kicking it old school. So it's an arcade. So she got me that. I got a word shirt for my mom that was too small, so Logan owns that now. So sharing is caring. I got 3 video games, which is the most I ever got. Which are usually it's difficult with your family because they potentially will get you something you already have. So 3 games. One of the games from the. I'm blanking on the name. It's the series of games by Supermassive. They do the horror anthology series, so their latest game.
Dark Pictures is anthology?
Yeah, so the most recent from that I haven't played, so I'm going to save that for the scary times. I also got F.I.S.T, which is a game I'm going to talk about, which is one of the worst names in the world. And then I also got the Atari 50 collection.
Oh, cool.
So I'm really excited about that one, even though I probably won't play a lot of the games. I'm excited about because I've heard so many good things about it being kind of a great history piece, kind of more of a documentary. So that was kind of what I got from video games. But then I got this, which I didn't even know this existed. So if you can see it, it's basically a graphic novel about the history of video games. Cool. It's called The Comic Book Story of Video Games. So I'm like, this is pretty cool. I didn't know this existed. So it's a graphic novel. So it'll be fun seeing illustrations, not just, the words, but all the pictures and the story. So I'm excited to read that. So I'll be probably doing a review in 2023 of that.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. How far does it go back? Like the beginning of video games kind of thing?
Let me look.
Get into the crash, the rebuild with Nintendo, all the
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's got like an intro that kind of talks about, where video games are at now. But then, basis takes us back to kind of the history of entertainment. And then it goes into some various things. But it's really cool because they go back to really early innovators. We're talking about not Einstein, but Thomas Edison with power. And so it's kind of a weird transition, but also the illustrations are fun because they add a little bit of they add in you can't see it very well because of my background, but it's got Mario levels, but with the founders of video games. So it's kind of a more creative approach to telling the history, which should be a fun read.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so that was kind of it. So, but yeah, I mean, gift cards and things like that. Logan, he bought Rogue. He got a Steam card from his mom, so he bought Rogue Legacy 2. So hopefully, I'll get to play that. And yeah, it'll be a good time.
That's great.
Yeah, so well, hopefully everybody else in the community had a great Christmas. New Year's is coming up, and if you got anything cool for Christmas, and Mark and I are both in a secret group, and we do an exchange every year there too. So it's always fun to be a part of that gaming community as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the first rule is we can't talk about it. So I already broke
Exactly. Fun club.
it. So moving on to our favorite segment of the show, Buy Rent Return, Mark. I was inspired because I've been playing Fist. I'll talk about it, but it is essentially a platformer, Metroidvania type game. So that made me think of all the ways you move in games. So I picked move mechanics, including double jump, dash, dodge, or roll, just basically evasion techniques, I guess is the best way to put it, and then wall jump. So I don't know if wall jump's cheating with the double jump, but I figure it's another move mechanic that's become kind of synonymous with the games. So did I miss anything that you think is more iconic or in regards to movement? I mean, there's
No, see, when I read wall jump, for some reason my brain went to like wall run as well, like the Prince of Persia style, like jump, run,
running
the
along
wall,
the ledge.
off
Got
the
it.
wall kind of thing. So that was kind of like my differentiator between like a normal double jump of like, you jump in the air and then you jump off of the air, I guess, however that mechanic works, and the wall jump mechanic. So I
think of the Mario back and forth. You go to one side of the wall, you go to the other side of the wall, and go up the
All right. No, I think those are good.
It's a hard one because I even struggle. I'm like, but we probably start with the comments from the group. Yeah. So Jerry McCoy from the Facebook group, he says buy, dash, dodge, and roll, rent, wall jump, assuming this also means run if it's mantling less enthused. Okay, so we went your route, Mark, with the wall run, and then returning double jump. Wow, that's a very brave addition.
Wow.
In the Discord group, the Winter Gamer, he says buy double jump. It can cover everything. Rent, dash, dodge, roll most of the time. In return, it's which is wall jump. It's faster to return wall jump. Not many walls that I need it for anyways. True. And then Schloss Ritter, he is basically agreeing with Brendan, but he basically says, except to add that wall jumping gives me traumatic flashbacks to Strider on NES. Very true.
Fair. For me, I'm thinking I'm gonna buy the double jump. For some reason, that's just such a video gamey mechanic that doesn't make any physical sense, but feels so natural. It's one of those things that it's just like, I should be able to jump again while I'm already in the air. That doesn't work in real life, but it just feels right. And everyone understands it. Everyone gets it. Like, hey, it's a double jump. It's like, what the hell does that mean? It's a double. Don't worry about it. Like, it's the most video game thing. So I have to buy that one.
Mark, have you ever tried like a triple jump, like in the Olympics where they do, and then they do that? I don't even know that's like, I don't think I could do it. I'd probably fall the second time.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm gonna, man, the next two are tough. I love my platformers. I've been playing through Super Mario 64 for Finn, who's really in like a Mario zone right now. So I'm gonna go with wall jump for my next one, even though I'm not. It depends on the game, but it also depends on the game for dash, dodge, and roll too. Like I find that's overused in some games and can be super annoying. So these two literal coin flip. Like you could get me. It's not going to take much to convince me. But for right now, I'm gonna rent wall jump, return dash, dodge, roll. By the end of this episode, I will probably have changed my mind. But that's what I'm going with right now. What about you?
It just takes the right game to convince you otherwise. That's all it is. Because you're like,
That's it.
if I didn't have that, it would have been a horrible experience. Or when something's missing, you kind of feel like it doesn't feel right. Yeah, so I am definitely buying Double Jump. It just feels lately, if you're in a platformer of any type, it feels like it's just missing something. I remember playing Bionic Commando, a game you cannot jump in. You have to use the grapple claw, which felt so weird, but it worked. But it just took some, getting used to. But I think of so many games, if Double Jump wasn't there, like Ori and modern games like that just don't that use it to such excellent, use. It's wonderful. I would then rent Dash, Dodge, and Roll because it can be used well, it can be used badly. It's turned into an evasion, but some games like Guacamelee use it really well, where it's like the dash in the air gives you like double jump, dash. It's like you can go so far. Even Mario Odyssey, when they added in all those things, I saw people like go so far that I just couldn't even understand how they're doing it, but it was there, and it added another ability to get you where you needed to go or get to places you normally couldn't. So that was really cool. But yeah, it's something I don't always need, or it's not always done right. And then wall jump, it just seems like it's when it's there, I'm okay with it. When it's or I enjoy it. When it's missing, I don't go, oh, well, this could have used a wall jump. So it does feel like that thing that it's like, it could disappear and I would probably not care.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. See, you're already convincing me to be like, and when we get to our like anticipated games a little later in the bonus round, I'm going to be like, most of the games that I mention have dodge mechanics. So like that really should be my rent. But anyway, we'll keep on going.
Just one good wall jump is all it takes to get Mark back in.
That's it.
Oh, very, very good. Now, what we've been playing. So, Mark, typically when you're sick, you either play a lot of games or you play none at all. And I don't know what it was for you. You played a couple, though, it looks like. So, what was the verdict on it?
For me, this was a very low profile kind of thing. So I did play some games that I'm not going to talk about, I'll mention them, but I won't go into detail. So more Pokemon and Mario 64 to entertain Finn. But aside from that, yeah, my gaming was a little light. A little bit of Fortnite here and there, but the rest of this was some of this list is games that I played back before I even missed an episode. So this stuff wasn't even like covered recently for the most part. But anyway, one of those I have been playing over the break whenever I get a chance, including remote play, and Game Pass streaming, just because it's so goofy and so ridiculous. I see that you've been playing it too. Let's talk about High on Life.
High on Life by Squanch Games, Justin Roiland, folks who did Trover Saves the Universe.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the Rick and Morty squad that have gotten into video games.
Yeah. Built a studio.
Yeah, exactly. This is a Game Pass. It's an Xbox and PC, I think, and it's on Game Pass day and date.
Correct. Yeah, and it seems to be doing really, really well on Game Pass. It's like the most played game on Game Pass, the most played single player game. It's like breaking some Game Pass records, doing really, really well. Pretty well reviewed, and it's very tough to recommend this one though, because of the humor. You have to buy in to that style of humor. I love Rick and Morty. You and I have watched Rick and Morty together in VR, and it's great. So if you're like us and have a juvenile brain that can get into it and deal with the F-bombs and the language and the weird, annoying things that become funny and then become annoying and then become funny again, like if you can deal with that stuff, you're going to love this game. But if you can't, like, there are some options to turn down how much the weapons talk to you, because this is a game that your weapons, it's a first person shooter where your guns and a knife will converse to you. They're living organisms that also happen to be guns. And you become a bounty hunter after aliens kind of crash in next to your house and start taking over Earth. And yeah, but it's so hard to recommend for people like, if like, hey, go watch an episode of Rick and Morty. If you find it funny, play this game. If you don't, I don't
Wear
know.
headphones with the kids around,
Oh,
please.
yeah, yeah. Not safe for kids.
No, and to Mark's point, you can turn off actually most of the dialogue if you want. But I would say if you're doing that, I don't know if the game is strong enough really to be without that, because it's that marriage of the sense of humor and what you're doing. It kind of plays into that. I mean, like Mark said, the aliens landed and they're essentially using humans as drugs, which I found very odd. So high on life.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous. I love it.
Yeah, it's so I fell off of it pretty quick. I did the first bounty, like the clone queen or whatever she was. So I did the first bounty and I'm like, I actually know why Rick and Morty works in 20-minute increments. It doesn't work in long because I just got tired of it. I'm just like, yeah, they're repeating the same jokes over and over. I'm like, it just felt like stuff Rick and Morty left on the floor and said, we can't use it in a show because it's not that entertaining. And it felt like an Xbox 360 shooter. I didn't feel like it was doing anything special or new. The mechanics of the weapons talking to you, like the knife that just wants to stab people, but you can also use it as a grappling hook, which was very fun. That was very cool. And you do bounties and you're doing that kind of stuff. So I get it, but for me, I'm like, the gameplay just wasn't enough to keep me coming back. But I can understand where some people, they just what they want. They want something dumb fun. Todd catchphrase. Mark, your bingo card, apparently, which Charlie is making us do. Yes. So, Mark, I'll figure out what your catchphrase is very soon, too. But yeah, I fell off. And but I'm glad it was on Game Pass because I didn't have to spend $50 to see if I really liked it or not. But it's encouraging that a single player, first person shooter, story-based sense of humor is doing so well.
Yeah. I have not fallen off of it. I haven't beaten it yet. I haven't finished it, but I've been playing in small increments. One, because I can't play when the kid's around because he repeats everything. And two, just because I haven't been feeling good. So I've been going to bed earlier. So that really cuts my playtime down. But I'm 3 bounties in, still very much enjoying it. I love the ridiculousness of being able to, like, if you want to, in between bounties, you can watch like a full movie.
Oh yeah.
Tammy and the T-Rex, or Tammy and the Teenage T-Rex, or something
like a real movie. I didn't realize they were all real.
Oh yeah, legit movie. I think there is some other stuff that is specifically made for this game, and you can watch through those. But like, I just sat there for like a half hour watching Tammy and the Teenage T-Rex. I was like, Denise Richards and Paul Walker, and I was just like, what is this game? And like, my wife walked in and she was just like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm playing a game, but I'm watching a movie inside the game. And she was just like, I don't understand. I'm just going to leave.
This is how you spend your time.
But to what you're saying, like with the knife, like you're right, you can, it has a grapple mechanic, which comes into play a little bit later. There's some like on rails stuff and like, going down that way and then shooting certain platforms so they move and doing that kind of stuff. When you get the shotgun, that also releases like buzz saws, which you can use for your own platforms, and you can grapple up to those to keep kind of reaching higher and higher levels and stuff. So it's not, as far as like what a first person shooter is, it's not like breaking the mold there, but like for me, I'm finding it is unlocking those mechanics to help keep me interested of like, okay, yeah, I can reach up there now, or I can do this, or I can do that. And that's keeping me coming back. So I'm very much enjoying High on Life. It's good. It's keeping me interested.
It says about 8 to 10 hours to beat. So yeah, I mean, that's perfect for dads.
Yeah. I'm probably a little over halfway in right now. I'm estimating.
Nice.
So it's good.
So there's a game on your list that just came out, River City Girls 2. I played
Yeah.
River City Girls 1. It's a brawler, pixel art. Uh, what do you think?
So I got a code for this one from our friends at Way Forward. They're always awesome to come through and support the show that way. Um, and I did play River City Girls, and I reviewed the last one I think on the show and said like the intro is way too long. Um, there was way too much dialogue. It was just there were a few things that I was kind of nitpicking from the last game. So this one, I'm happy to say, skips that and literally makes fun of itself in the opening dialogue. So they say, at least we finished the school stage quicker this time. And they literally call themselves out for it. I love it. The hilarious, like kick-ass intro song, great voice acting, awesome like comic book cutscene with voice acting to kind of bring you up to speed with what you need to know if you miss like the first game or anything like that. And the big bad literally just like gets bored and Superman style like punches his way through a prison wall and escapes, just like showing you that he was just in there because he allowed himself to be in there. Such a great opener and like a badass like comic book old school video game villain kind of moment. Um, Combat feels amazing. It's great. Every punch, every kick, there's different combos you can unlock. There's different like weapons. Just like, oh, my favorite kind of like old school beat 'em up is like just picking up a baseball bat or a garbage can and using it to beat someone up. The bat in this game is so damn satisfying. It is just good. So if you like those kind of old school beat 'em up brawlers, it's great. It is tough. Don't be afraid to like spend, so you can spend some money at the mall to get like upgrades and like health upgrades. Don't be afraid to do that, because when you die, you either start back and like lose your money and that kind of stuff, or you can kind of start back at your home base, but like you have to retrek through the whole map. So at least you get some options, like if you're really close to something, but there's like give and take for either option. So yeah, but if you like those kind of old school beat 'em up kind of games, like this is one to watch out for. It's pretty fun.
I really like the first one. It is difficult. And I think this has been a great year for brawlers because we had Shredder's Revenge come out as well, and just so much fun. And all those Turtles games that came out in the Cowabunga collection. So, and this one came out. People were worried this game was not going to come out this year because of some performance issues getting it out. But I'm glad to see this one came out.
Yeah, me too. It was like you said, it's kind of that year of the brawler, and this one, like it could have easily, like any brawler that came out could have easily kind of gotten overshadowed, but I feel like this stands out on its own. So that's like some big praise coming from a year that was so good on brawlers.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll finish it off with Wavetail. So this one is from Thunderful Games, and I found out, like, I saw that this was I saw the trailer for this and thought it looked absolutely beautiful and just like really, really charming. And then I found out that I know the writer for this game.
Really?
Yeah. So it's Alexandra Dahlberg. So she used to do like the HR and marketing for Zoink, and has since kind of like moved on from that role and is now kind of like writing and doing more like of the game creation side of things. So yeah, it's really cool. So after I played it, I kind of like saw some trailers like where she was talking and like she's on my Facebook and stuff. So I was like, like sending her a message, like, I had no idea this is like, you wrote this game. That's amazing. So it was cool to be able to kind of like chat that way with her and just like, like, what's it like now that it's like people are playing it and stuff. And yeah, this was already out on Stadia, which I didn't realize even when I messaged her. So she was like, I wrote it so long ago that it's like just kind of cool to see people like, it's, I guess with
Discover
anything
it
at work,
in a place that
like,
people actually will have.
yeah, right. And I guess it's like something at work where you work on it for a while and you move on to the next project,
Mhm.
but there's still work to be done after you're done. So it doesn't really see the light of day until you're far past moving on. But it's really, really cool. It is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful game. Um, and you kind of start off on this like little island, archipelago kind of that's decaying, and you play a teenage girl named Sigrid, and you live on that little island with your grandmother who's a bit stern, but you find out through the dialogue and through the story why she's like that, and kind of where everyone else has gone, and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a strained relationship, but it's an interesting one, and one that like feels very real. Um, and you start very quickly. It's not really a spoiler. You start very quickly by like meeting this shadow who mimics your movements and allows you to kind of run or walk on the water, and you start unraveling the mystery of what's going on, and that kind of stuff, and like, sorry. Going from island to island, there's that cough coming back. Island to island, and meeting new people, and unlocking different secrets, and uh, just kind of traveling through this really amazing world. The art style kind of reminds me of like Wind Waker. Um, it is it's so good. I don't want to give away too much because the story is so. Um, it's yeah, you just kind of like, as you play, the story just progresses, and some of it's kind of like you're talking to yourself, some of it's you're talking to other people, some of it's your grandmother's talking to you or like leading you to a different place, and that kind of stuff, and it's really cool. But the whole thing's just kind of this mystery, and kind of broad world mystery, but also very like personal. What happened to this family kind of thing. So it's really good. It's on PlayStation, Switch, Xbox, and PC. I've been playing it on Xbox. I'd love to see how this performs on Switch. I'd almost I'm almost tempted to pick it up and double dip and get it on Switch, just because it is a game where I could kind of see myself just like wandering around the ocean trying to find different secrets and stuff. And that would be good on Switch. But yeah, pick it up kind of wherever you can. It's really, really good.
While you were talking about it, I just pulled up a trailer, and the art style is very watercolory, very pretty, simplistic but beautiful. So I think it would perform well on Switch. And it looks like it's action adventure, traversal, and there's some combat. Doesn't look like it's heavy on combat, but looks like it's a good mix. Yeah, combat's probably more of a get you a little away from the main part, which is probably the traversal part.
Exactly. Yeah. Most of it is the traversal, the like figuring out the land based kind of puzzles of how do I get up to this platform? How do I get this? Where do I find this collectible, or do this thing, or hit this switch, or how do I get power going to this certain object? Yeah, the combat's fairly simplistic, kind of one button kind of thing, but it works. Like, it's not uninteresting combat completely, but it's definitely not the highlight of the game. But yeah, it's nice. It's good.
Was there wall jump?
No, double jump.
See, there you go, Mark. You're further convincing yourself away from the wall jump.
That's it. That's it. What about you? What have you been playing?
Well, the gods at GameFly have been sending me games I wanted to play. So finished Modern Warfare 2. Check it out. It's a really fun campaign. I didn't play any of the multiplayer, but I think Sean Capri was mentioning like there's something that kind of made him fall off, which was a stealth survival level, which
Is that
really
the truck?
no, the truck is at the very beginning where you're like jumping from truck to truck, and that people got derailed. Sean Nias got derailed by that point. I didn't mind it, but it felt like I was doing the same thing over and over, just trying to get the truck to truck to do that. No, this is like you're essentially trying to escape capture in this town, and you're basically almost like guerrilla warfare. Like you're trying to like get tape and mouse traps and things like this because you have no weapons and things. And it kind of takes you out of it because once again, you're used to like running and gunning, going crazy, being, God mode. And this one, like you're barely able to come up with any way to defend yourself. Like you're making shivs, and it kind of took me out, but it came back and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty strong entry. Enjoyed it quite a bit. So check out Modern Warfare 2 if you want to. If you're into it or not. It's not going to be the game that says, "Oh, this is the best campaign of the year," but a good return after Vanguard, which a lot of people didn't like. I enjoyed that though. Gotham Knights. So this is, I think it's Warner Brothers Montreal who made Gotham Arkham Origins, the game I actually liked. Played it on the Wii U.
Yeah, me too.
Surprisingly,
Me too. I did as well.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Yeah,
two people.
I love the Wii U gamepad. I don't know. I'm like probably the only one. I love the ergonomics of it, the touch screen. It just needed that bathroom range. But enough said on that. This game is a little weird because Batman is dead and you see him die, folks. So I don't know if he comes back or not because you actually see him die. You pick up his body and bury him, unless he goes into the Lazarus pit, which maybe does. I don't know, but not what I saw so far. You play as one of the Gotham family, the Bat family, Red Hood, Batgirl. You play Tim Drake, Robin, and then you play Dick Grayson as Nightwing. Various different, and you can choose who you play as, and then you can go back after every night. You do missions and change out. So it's kind of nice because you're not locked into one character, and they do a pretty good job of actually doing story with the character in mind versus just being like, it doesn't matter who you are, which I liked. I thought that was pretty cool. What this game lacks is Arkham's combat style, which I don't know why they went away from it. The combat's good. It's just different. So you feel like it feels so different, even though this is not an Arkham game, but Suicide Squad is tied to Arkham. So it's very weird. Right. It's just very weird. There's no glide in this game. And if you've played the Arkham games, the gliding is like one of the best things in the world. Yeah. So you're doing a lot of jumping and then you're using a lot of grapple mechanics. I've not, Red Hood has like a grappling, like billy club. It's kind of weird. It just, I think you do get glide eventually, but so far I like it. I think it's interesting. It's doing it differently. So I think it has a lot to live up to because people are expecting an Arkham game, but so far I'm liking it. It's got the Court of Owls as essentially the main entry into the bad guys. So I haven't gotten really deep into that yet so far. But yeah, I don't think it's the worst game. And I think they fixed some of the performance bugs, which I know it had. It's only next gen, but it doesn't like do anything special that says next gen only. So it might be just a performance issue where they didn't feel they wanted to put on next gen. But buy it on discount if you're curious and you like Batman and superhero games. But I know a lot of other folks have liked it, but a lot of people are like, I think the entry level is so high for a Batman game that this one could be disappointing to a lot of people.
Yeah. The reviews were mediocre at best. And that's what's kept me from getting it. I know it's on sale right now, 50% off, but I have enough stuff in my backlog that I'm not rushing. And I assume this game is going to go on sale again in the future and potentially, further than 50% off. I think it's only the special edition. So even 50% off is like still a little expensive.
What's that include? Like the season pass, or is that like extra skins?
I think it's extra skins. I haven't looked into it too much, but anyway, yeah. It's good to hear that you liked it. That's good. After saying, some things are different, but that's reassuring. That's reassuring. That's making me want to check it out more than I did this morning, looking through the Xbox shop and being like, maybe I'll wait.
Yeah, and I don't know the co-op elements of this game. There is co-op. I just have not played a co-op with anyone, and I'm not sure if there's a co-op mechanic like you can play as a single player and like you can bring somebody in to do like a co-op move, like with the AI. I'll be curious to see how that's implemented, but I'm not that far in yet because a certain game has absconded my time away. But yeah, Gotham Knights, maybe this will come to Game Pass. I thought this would have been the perfect game to come to Game Pass day and date, to be honest, because this game was not getting a lot of love, and Xbox has not had really a big, like, double A day and date game this year like they had previous years. So I was a little disappointed that we didn't see that this year, because I think this would have been the perfect game to say, hey, we got a pretty good game, and you don't have to spend $60 to know if you don't like it or not. But maybe Xbox knew that this wasn't a big enough, like, home run to like to spend the money on it.
If anyone wants us to come to Game Pass, just let me know. I'll buy it. And then the day after the return policy is expired, which is what, 2 weeks or something like that.
2 weeks or 2 hours played or something like that. There's a weird number, I think.
Yeah. If I play it for 2 hours and 1 minute, or if I let it sit on my Xbox for 2 weeks and 1 day, it will hit Game Pass guaranteed. So,
Mark, I'm that meme of or GIF of Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen, holding his beer, because I have a story of that I can speak to you about.
All right.
Yes, I did that with Death's Door last year, and I'm like,
me too. I think we bought that at the same time, because
we did, and I didn't really like the game. It didn't grab me. Like,
I liked the game, which I was like, okay, I have this forever.
Sure.
I justified the purchase, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it was, I think I was a few hours short of like the return window on that one for the 2 week time period or whatever it was. Because I think we both talked about that, and I think we both left the podcast and like pretty much bought it around the same time. Because I think it was like, hey, guess what? At Game Pass, that sucks.
Yeah, and it was a game that was getting such rave reviews. I'm like, oh, I should really play it. So I always hate to feel left out. So Tunic was the other game that didn't capture my whims, but at least that went to Game Pass, so I don't feel like I cheated too badly. And you know what? Game's good. Spend some money on it. But, you know, the game that did that to me was the game that I got for Christmas, F.I.S.T, Forged in Shadow. Oh God, what's the last? It's a weird name, but it's like F.I.S.T stands for something, and it's also about a rabbit with a big fist. So there's that. It's a very weird title, which might be one of the worst titles ever. It just is up there with what was that one game that had it was the Gods and Monsters. Remember when they changed
Yes.
and then they changed it to the other name that people are like, what's the name of the game again? Gods and Monsters. We can't use that. So we had to use I'm blanking on the name, but it was our game of the year.
Yes. F.I.S.T is Forged in Shadow Torch. Sorry, I'm looking that up right now, which is amazing.
Yeah, so I got the game for Christmas, my wife, on PS5, physical copy. And wouldn't you know it, Epic is doing like their 12 games of Christmas, and they're giving away some awesome games. They gave this game away, which I'm like, oh, it's only on PC with Epic, but still, they do a great job with giving good games away that I just like, oh, this is fantastic. But you know what? It's well worth it, because, Mark, I have not put this game down since I started playing it.
Wow.
It is, the best way to describe it, it is a anthropomorphic, dark future where you're playing as a rabbit, but essentially it's rabbits versus this group called the Dogs of War, which are essentially like they're cybernetic animals with, you know, that have been made over more robot than animals at this point. And this game, I'm trying to figure out the way to describe it. It is a melee Metroidvania. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of Guacamelee, but also Ori. And it is fantastic. I am blown away. I've put 12 hours into this game in the last day or 2 days.
Wow.
I don't do that anymore because I just don't have the time. No. But I'm like, I'm enjoying this. It's a beautiful looking game. The art style works really well. And it has all of those things I love about a Metroidvania. It's got a fantastic map, which you can tell everything what it is. The map is huge. I'm like, there's more? Oh, I love this. And it does such a good job of the melee combat. So essentially, I say fist because you were in a war and you had a mech suit. The mech suit was all but destroyed except for one arm. So that's what you use. So that's what you have. You control it. And they give you essentially 3 different main attachments or what the arm turns into. So one is just a big fist. I won't give the rest away, but they are all cool additions, which just once again layers onto the Metroid thing. I couldn't get there, but now I can. I see what I want to do. Oh, there's a spot in my map that's a little grayed out, or there's a door. I got to get there. And it does a good job with the melee where it feels like it layers it on. The combo system, the upgrade points, those are cool. How much health you can get. Basically you get extra power to do like your big power moves, like the fist where you jump up in the air and your fist comes crashing down. You've got like fire coming down because of like re-entry. It's so powerful. Or the uppercut that's like Ryu's uppercut. You get like 2 of those and they recharge as you kill enemies, but you get 2 that you can use, and then you have to kill enemies to get those recharged. And then you have like a secondary power-up. One is like a missile launcher, which if you use it, you only get 4 shots. Or health, you get 4 essential vials. Or the other thing is like almost like a parry. These baton things, you can use that to parry enemies as well. And there's a parry mechanic later on which you can get too, which is unlocked. I'm just like, and it is not too easy and it's not too difficult. It's a good balance where I'm like, I will have to replay bosses, but I know I'm not good enough yet. So I'll go off and kill some bosses or some mad guys, go up, power up, get some things, trade those in. You got like little errands you have to do to get more things. And there is voice acting in this, which I was surprised. It's not bad. And the story is not too bad. But man, I just blown away. I'm going to beat this game probably. And it's funny because they said time to beat is probably like 12 hours if you only do like the main stuff. But I want to clear out the map. And that's a sign of a game that you love and just are enjoying it. So, and it does a great job of, like I said, the melee parts where you're just beating up enemies that have, like shields. So you have to do something specific to get rid of the shield. But then it does fantastic traversal, like in Guacamelee, where it has the double jump. It also has the air dash. And then it adds in a grapple mechanic as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the grapple reminds me of Ori in a lot of ways, because like Ori, where you could point up and where you're going to go, this does that as well. And the levels are pretty, and the enemies are different. They're varied, and the different.
It looks really pretty, yeah.
Yeah, so I remember seeing this. I'm like, that looks pretty good, and it's gotten good reviews. But I think it's one of those. I think people who like Metroidvania games would absolutely love this game. I don't know what other platforms it's on, but wow.
It is on PC, PlayStation 4/5, and Switch, not on Xbox right now.
That's really weird. I assume this will perform well on Switch, though. I'm assuming they like bring down
Switch.
It's really good. And I don't know if it's on sale, what it's selling for, to be honest. But yeah, I did not expect this one, Mark. This is coming at the very end. And as we get ready for the couchies, this is happy. This is making me really happy. So this is kind of all we played. So we've got 2 days left in the year as we're recording this, Mark. So do you have any games you want to knock out before the end of the year to put into consideration for the couchies?
Oh, man. Not really. I need to completely finish Mario plus Rabbids, because Pokemon kind of made me drop off that game, and I absolutely love it. I think that's going to be in my top game of the year list, but I feel like if it's going to be on that list, I need to put a few more hours into it to kind of like justify making sure like it doesn't drop off at the end or something like that, where like the first game got so hard at the end that I really loved it. And so but that's about it. To your point earlier, Immortals Phoenix Rising was the game that we couldn't remember the name of.
There you go.
We brain farted that one out. So I know there's some people screaming that. If you're anything like me listening to podcasts, you're screaming in your car like, you idiots, it's Immortals Phoenix Rising. Anyway, there it is. I didn't want to interrupt you.
In our game of the year, which we forgot the name.
Yep. Aside from that, there's not much I can think of that like I'm missing. Like I don't know. If I was gonna go back, I mean, like it was, Fist sounds like a game I should probably try. Um, I'm not going to get a PlayStation 5 or and I probably won't play God of War on my PlayStation 4 in time. I would love to, but I just don't think it's going to happen. So that would probably be the biggest like glaring omission because I know it's phenomenal. I know I need to play it, but right now it's just not in the cards to finish in the next 3 days or whatever. So yeah, that's probably the biggest glaring omission is God of War. What
Did
about
you
you?
play Elden Ring? I can't remember.
No, I watched my brother
Your
play
brother
Elden
played it, yeah.
Ring. It's not my style. I've tried several of those types of games. I own the whole Dark Souls series. Like I picked up the controller for Elden Ring for a minute and was just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm done. I'll watch you play it, and that's it. It's not my style of game. Even if I did try to torture myself to play it, like it's not up there for me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I watched my son play too. I'm like, good job. And my son actually coached me through the first boss, I would say. And then he said, yep, I accomplished it. I beat the first boss. I beat Elden Ring.
That's it.
At 1%. That's all I needed. Games I would love to try to see if they would want me to play more are Pentiment, which just dropped on Game Pass. I'm hearing very good things about that. But that's a 20 plus hour, essentially visual novel type crime solving game that happens in like medieval Germany with no voice acting. That's hard for me to do. Immortality, which is one of those full motion video games that just dropped on Game Pass.
Yes,
which is essentially supposed to be very cool. But like basically, you're watching a film and clips of a film, and you're basically looking for things within the film to put together a larger story, which sounds really cool. Which sounds for me is very interesting. It's very adult. Like boobs, sorry kids, but it's apparently like they filmed like real films to do this, which is very cool. And the guy who did this, he's getting a reputation of making these really compelling full motion video games. I think Telling Lies, Her Story, I think was one of them as well. So, but yeah, it's there. So I'm like, I probably should just give it a try. And then Mark, Sonic Frontiers is shipping to me from GameFly. So I will be trying it out. We'll see how this goes. Evil West is the only other game I was really interested in. It's one of those dumb fun games. I don't think it's going to top tier, but those are the games. So, Mark, we don't record our couchies until middle of the year. So we might be fudging our rules a little bit if we actually played it in 2022.
Yeah, if we played it in 2022 or if it came out in 2022, I guess, and we play it before it records. I think Sonic. Yeah, that's one that I kind of forgot about as well. I need to play that, and I eventually will. But I don't know if it's going to be in the next 2 weeks before we record. So we'll see. We'll put a pin on that one. But for right now, I'm kind of forming my list with what I've already played. We've mentioned a couple of the games that I think will be on it, and we'll find out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so I think that's my homework in the next couple of days or next week is to put together my list, your list. I usually use my achievements, my PlayStation trophies to really gather what I played and then kind of rack and stack and give them specific scores. So I think we're going to add some new categories this year. Mark, I haven't told you about that. I think we're going to add some new categories, which could be fun.
Sounds fun.
Excellent. Well, that's what we've been playing, folks. But now we're going to get into the bonus round. This is really us looking forward at 2023. We've kind of got a list of the games that at least right now are confirmed. Surprise, surprise. Nothing's really confirmed until after January or July. So pretty much, obviously nothing's coming out after July this year. So that's it. Game over. No, we're going to get a lot of games that are announced coming July or later, and some games will still get pushed out. But we've got those games, so we're going to be talking about what is coming and confirmed, what games don't have dates that we're anticipating, and then kind of we'll do just really one each. We'll have a prediction each for Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, and third party of what we're expecting in 2023. So, Mark, with that,
Yes.
the list of games that are confirmed, I don't want to go through all of them, but I'll just probably hit on the standouts. For this, we'll go to Fire Emblem Engage. This is Nintendo hitting it hard with a new Fire Emblem. Right now, it sounds like this game is like really dividing the Fire Emblem fan base. And I know nothing about those games.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely am not a Fire Emblem fan either. Like, I can't really speak to it, but yeah, I've been seeing a lot of stuff in Discord, on Twitter, and Nintendo, of course, is pushing this one out because they always market the absolute hell out of any Fire Emblem anything. Yeah, but it's I can't wait to just. I like reading the discourse about those kind of games because I'm not going to play them myself, but I like kind of keeping up with what Nintendo's doing. So we've got that. Persona 4 Golden, Persona 3 Portable, Forspoken for the PlayStation fans, and then Dead Space, all in January.
That's nice. It's nice to have some games to play. I played the Forspoken demo. I hope the actual game is better than the demo, which is disappointing to me. But yeah.
Very. Yeah.
Yeah, February. Hogwarts Legacy. We have, let's see, I'm trying to think of the games that really stand out. Wild Hearts, which is that EA Monster Hunter-like from Namco Bandai. Atomic Heart. This is a really cool Eastern European first-person shooter. This game looks like Half-Life, dystopian, but looks really cool. Like a Dragon Ishin. Apparently that's the Yakuza games.
And this is around the time we should get PlayStation VR 2. So that's Horizon Call of the Mountain on PlayStation VR 2 and the rest of the stuff that's hitting PSVR. So I can't wait as a VR fan and someone who's not going to be getting PSVR 2. I'm looking forward to just seeing the reviews on that. I'm hoping my brother picks one up so I can play it and compare it to the Quest 2. And, February should be entertaining just for that, like just hardware side alone, and then all the re-releases that they've announced. So far I don't think there's any heavy hitters for people who have already played VR. It's a lot of re-releases, remasters, repackaging, like the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge game. But February should be interesting anyway from a new hardware standpoint alone.
Yeah, and I guess console clause worked again because I secured a PSVR 2 for Sean Nias. So he is having me over to play PSVR 2. So I'll get some hands-on, which will be great because he is a huge fan of it. So it'll be curious what games he picks up for that. Mark, Blood Bowl 3. Blood Bowl is a lot of fun. It's basically like goblins and monsters playing football. So it's kind of it has replaced NFL Blitz in a lot of ways. So very cool. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. This is the Wii game that Logan absolutely loved with Kirby. It's getting a remaster, which is cool. Octopath Traveler 2, which never played those games. It seems has a good, strong fan base. And that's coming to everything. So it's no longer a Switch exclusive. It's coming to everything. And then Destiny 2 Lightfall, which anytime Destiny 2 comes back with content, my son, that's all he'll be doing on his PC.
I always get tempted to come back in. Maybe we'll see if I'm bored in February, if that's what draws me back. Every time I'm just like, man, I kind of want to get back into Destiny. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So March. Wow. Looking to see what's coming out in March.
It's PC.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Wolong Fallen Dynasty. That game looks really, really cool.
Is that the game? I'm trying to remember which one that is. Is that by the Chinese developer?
Yes.
Or is that okay? That's the game that looks really, really cool.
I think that's the one.
Or is that the game? Or is this like a Souls-like? I don't know.
Frig, now you're making me doubt myself. I thought it was that. Anyway, okay.
More to come on that one.
I'll have to figure that out. Skull and Bones might finally release in March.
Really?
Maybe. I'll believe it when I play it. But we'll see. Bayonetta Origins, if you didn't get your Bayonetta fix with Bayonetta 3, Origins might be the chibi art style
Sure.
game for you, I guess. But the big one for me, of course, as a massive Star Wars fan, is Peppa Pig World Adventures. Oh wait, no, that will probably hit Game Pass. Actually, I did play the Peppa Pig game just to see if Finn was into it. But no, Star
Corleone
Wars
will be
Jedi
playing that with his daughter, and
exactly.
maybe Finn's. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Star Wars Jedi Survivor that's coming out in March, along with Resident Evil 4 remake. But Jedi Survivor is where it's at for sure.
Next gen only. So hopefully,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is an Unreal Engine 5 game, but they, surprisingly, we have seen very little of this game. So I'm like, what's going to be new? What's going to be big? I'm still, so there's got to be some big blitz coming out about this game, because everybody's excited about this game. I don't know anybody that says, oh, that game, don't want it. I love Star Wars games, so I'm very excited about that game, Mark.
Yeah. April's interesting.
Oh, Mark.
What's up?
RE4 remake.
I just mentioned RE4
Did you? Okay, maybe I was too focused on Peppa Pig. I cannot wait for RE4. RE has become one of my favorite franchises of all time. So I bought a GameCube to play Resident Evil 4.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yep. I still need to play that in VR.
Oh, do you really want to?
Seems to be. I've heard great reviews.
Well, RE4 might be okay versus 7 or 8.
So, yeah. A little bit more jump scare in those kind of things. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah. Because that game has, we've seen that, but it's always been the GameCube version kind of up-resed and whatever. So this is going to be the full remake. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, after RE2 and 3 remake, I'm in.
Yeah. April's where things start to slow down. So this is like Hogwarts Legacy, like the PS4 and PS1 editions, unless they get delayed, which I could kind of see happening. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection hits Switch and PS4.
25 Mega Man games.
Yeah. God of Rock Dead Island 2 could finally release.
Oh, God of Rock, Mark, this game looks awesome. It's basically a rhythm fighting game. I'm like, that is cool. Been waiting for something like that to come out.
Yep. And then it really starts to drop off. We've got basically like the last couple of things are like maybe May. So that's Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. In June, we're seeing Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4, and Final Fantasy 16.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And Hogwarts Legacy is hitting Switch at some point, maybe July.
That's weird. That is very weird. Maybe they're hopeful that Switch 2 will be out. So it's actually for Switch 2, folks.
Yeah, Shadow dropped that one in February, release it in March. There we go. But we've got some other stuff like the next Assassin's Creed game, Arc 2, like the Avatar game.
There's a long list of unconfirmed. Yeah, we know of all these games. So I actually, what I did in my list, so we have most anticipated, unless there's a game here that is not on your anticipated, but wow, that'd be cool if it dropped in 2023.
Right. So right now, my most anticipated games, let's get into our own personal list right now. Jedi Survivor is top for me, along with kind of neck and neck right up with Zelda. Are two of my most anticipated. Again, I just mentioned this in it's probably going to drop this year category, but Assassin's Creed Mirage. Can't wait to dive into that one. I'm hoping that's their big fall game kind of thing. Starfield, that got delayed into next year, right? We don't have a date for it though, do we?
Well, at the Xbox event, they said everything announced there would be out in 12 months. So Starfield was announced, and so is Redfall. So they should be out before June or in June.
Yeah. So those make my list. Again, I had Starfield on last year as my most anticipated, but here we go again. And the only other one that I didn't see in that list, but I know is coming out, but this is a VR game, so I don't know if that included VR in that last list, is the Ghostbusters VR game for Quest 2, Rise of the Ghost Lord. So I'm looking forward to ghost busting in VR, and that's going to be fun. But they're kind of off the top of my head, my most anticipated games that we've seen so far that seem to be pointing at a release in 2023.
Mark, VR is hurting my heart. Quest has said, take that Quest 1, throw it in the garbage, because we're not bringing any games out for it anymore, which just makes me so sad, because it's only like 3 years old. Oh,
It's
so
rough,
sad.
man. And I keep seeing rumors about like the Quest 3 being announced or released even this year. And it's like, okay, is like the Quest 2 support gonna dry
Don't kill
up
it off.
as
There's so
quickly
many.
as one? I know
Yeah.
there's so many, and it's still like it was, I think, the second or third top selling console on Best Buy this holiday season. It was like Switch, Xbox Series S, and the Quest. Like,
Yeah.
they were the top three, and I can't remember the order. I think Switch was on top. I can't remember the other order of the other two.
Because they had a really good deal. It was $350, and RE4 was in it, I think, and Beat Saber. So I mean, that's because those games alone are like $40, $50.
Yeah.
It normally is 400. So to me, that's a great deal. Still, even at 400, the Oculus Quest 2 is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
You wanna buy my Oculus Quest 1 so I can get Oculus Quest 2? Of course, once I buy Oculus Quest 2, Oculus Quest 3 drops.
It drops 100%.
They'll show up my door, say, "It's out, Todd." Punch me in the gut. Yeah, and set my Quest 2 on fire.
I've got to do what I did with the Xbox Series console. When I sold my Xbox One, like a couple of months before the Series S or X came out, to make sure I got like the most value for my sale. So that kind of worked out for me. Although I did have like 2 months without an Xbox, which drove me crazy. But we'll see with the Oculus 3. Anyway, what's your most anticipated?
I mean, you mentioned most of them, and my most anticipated games that do have release dates. So, but I think you mentioned all of them except for Hogwarts Legacy. I'm very excited. I know we struggle with the creator of that series, but I think of all the people that are passionate about this, that actually made this game, that are most likely, there's people on those teams that are LGBTQ. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to support them. You can actually select different gender and other things as well. I believe sexual. I don't know how much relationship building is in this game, but my wife saw the commercial for it. It was like, that looks awesome. I'm like, yeah, it's a game. Sorry, honey. It's not actually, it's something you can watch. But I'm excited because I've always wanted to be a student at Hogwarts, learning how to craft, doing the classes thing. That's cool. That's wish fulfillment. I loved Hogwarts at Universal Studios, and my wife does too. So I'm excited for this game. Very excited to play that. And then Marvel Spider-Man 2 did get a release window. Fall, the infamous fall, which, what does fall mean, Mark? It could be like from September to like December 20th. I don't know, whenever winter actually happens.
They really stretch fall out to like, fall.
It's like winter, right?
Holiday season. It goes, it's like a fall game could still be released right now. And it's like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, it's like when they say winter, and it's like, oh God, it's going to be like, that's like almost April, especially if you live in Minnesota. I mean, there's still snow on the ground until May. So what am I killing? Yeah, it doesn't feel very much like spring. So yeah, those are my games. I mean, because Zelda TikTok, so I'm calling it now, Mark. Tears of the Kingdom TikTok. I don't know. Good. I am curious if that will keep its place, or they'll be like, it's going to get pushed out. And by the way, we're launching a new hardware, and it's going to launch on Switch 1 and Switch 2. And here's your new Switch 2. Because that would be awesome. That would be my dream, but it would be fantastic. I don't think people could complain. Complain. No, unless they say it's not backwards compatible, then people would complain.
Oh, man, can you imagine?
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think, like, throw away any predictions for Switch Pro. We're getting Switch 2. They are skipping the Pro.
Why would you just do a Pro?
Chance.
I mean, that would just be silly.
A chance they're doing Pro.
Yeah, 1 extra gigabyte of RAM and faster hard drive. I mean, come on. No, we want the full fat Switch 2. Call it the Switch 2. We don't care, Nintendo. Don't amaze us and make us happy. Just do that. Games that don't have release dates, but I'm really excited for. Hopefully they happen this year. Alan Wake 2. Oh, I loved Alan Wake 1. So good. Mark, Disney Illusion Island. This is that wacky platform with Mickey, Donald, that looks just cool and fun.
That's a Switch exclusive game with that. Yeah.
And that was on Xbox Game Pass, right? It's coming to Game Pass, right?
I thought that was a Switch
Oh,
exclusive.
it was Switch. That's right. That's right. So I take that
It was a
back.
Game Awards, right?
Okay. No, this was at
I
one of
think,
their
or
other.
not the other event. Let me
Yeah.
make sure I'm thinking of.
Yeah. So I think that to be awesome. I love those new Mickey Mouse cartoons on Disney Plus.
Yes,
They're
that is a
fantastic.
Switch exclusive.
Okay, perfect. So it works well on there. I'm excited for that game. Hopefully it's like a Rayman Legends type game. That could be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really cool. Replace that pixel art Blade Runner game. I think that was announced to come out in 2023. Very excited. Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. This is a Don't Nod game who makes the not Stranger Things, the relationship games, Telltale starred. What's it called? I'm looking at the game.
True Colors.
Yes, not Stranger Things. It's
Why can I?
strange something.
Why can I not think of that? Life is Strange.
Life is Strange. I had something in there, but this is like their first action game. So it's basically
Banishers.
Yeah,
of New Eden.
it's basically an action game where you're the guy that basically puts souls to rest, and it looks really cool. It looks really really cool.
Oh shit! Yes,
It was at the Game Awards.
Remember seeing that trailer. Looks really cool.
Yeah,
It looks like you have a ghost with you. That
it's your wife, I think. Yeah, it's your wife, and she's sitting at the table, and you don't realize it's a ghost. Yeah, looks really really cool. Star Trek Resurgence. This is essentially like a Telltale game in Star Trek. It looks beautiful. There's not been many Star Trek games, so while Star Wars gets a lot of games, Star Trek doesn't. So I'm very excited for that game. Suicide Kills the Justice League. Oh, actually, we talked about that already. I think that game does have a release date. So, and I trust Rocksteady, so I'm happy with that. System Shock. I've never played that game. This is by the folks who basically inspired BioShock. This is getting a remake, so that would be the only way I want to play it. Don't want to play it on PC. Sorry, that's really old and busted. The Expanse. It's one of my favorite TV series of all time. It's getting game by the Telltale team. And then Ravenlock, this game looks awesome. This is essentially by the Echo Generation team, Mark. So if you remember that game, it's very blocky, pixely, and it was like a turn-based RPG based in like the 80s. Well, this is essentially Alice in Wonderland and their take on that using that pixel style. It looks very fantastical, looks wonderful. I'm excited for that game.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
All right, Mark. If there's anything else that people are anticipating, let us know. But wow, with these games alone, it's going to be a very, very busy 2023 just in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a lot of games. I didn't realize like we had that many confirmed or almost confirmed games. That's really neat.
I know, and it seems like there's big games dropping in March and April, which is great, versus everything happening in January, February, March.
Yeah.
So prediction time, Mark. So
last but not least,
these can be far-fetched or just more realistic for anything that'll happen in 2023 from Xbox. Next episode, I'll dig out what our predictions were for 2022, and I'll bring those out. I just didn't have time to do that. So I'll make sure we feel like we redeem ourselves or not.
Of course.
Yeah. Because we have like 2 days left. So any of those things could still happen. We don't want to jinx it.
Definitely. Nintendo's absolutely going to release a Wave Race game in the next 2 days.
Exactly. Well, they did release a Wave Race game. So, Mark, they gave you everything you asked for.
I guess so.
Yeah. And I'm glad we don't like wager anything like important. Like, well, I could shave my head. That would be a pretty low bar with all our Manscaped gear. That's pretty easy. Mark, you? I don't know. Shave your beard? Be a good one.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I trimmed over the holidays. It was very, very long, and I kind of like shaved it almost right down, but not quite gone. But yeah, that could be a wager.
All right, Mark.
We're lucky that we don't wager anything. But
no,
we're
smart men. We're smart men.
Yeah. So my predictions start off. I'll start off with Xbox. Rare finally shows off full gameplay of Everwild. We get a deep dive, but I don't think it's released this year. But we get like a deep dive, and it's early 2024.
I like that. I like that because are they doing? I don't know how much work. I mean, they have a team on Sea of Thieves, but
Yeah.
it's not everybody at Rare. So hopefully that game comes out because that's all they've been
I'd love
doing.
it
Yeah,
for it to be released. Yeah, that'd be awesome if they were like, here's Everwild, you're playing it this fall, 2 thumbs up. I tried to, I don't know. I for some reason I think that's a 2024 game.
all right, all right. Well, I'll do
What's
Xbox.
your Xbox? Yeah.
So I think it's going to be. I'm going to give a hardware and I'm going to give a software. So hardware. I think this is the year that Xbox officially unveils their streaming device. I forget what they've called it. They've kind of previewed it. Phil Spencer had like a mock-up or a previous version on a shelf, but I think we're going to get it, and I think it's going to be brought in with an Xbox controller, and I think it's going to be priced at $100. And I think that gets a ton of people in the door, and hopefully a month of Game Pass. I hope they give you a month of Game Pass because that kind of makes sense to get people in the door.
So a month of Game Pass, a controller, and some sort of dongle, all for $100.
I think so.
Damn, sir.
I think it's the right way to do it. No barriers, right?
Yeah. Well, I do have to say, my parents just bought a new Samsung TV, and it has the Game Pass app just built into it. So we were over there, and over the holidays, and I told my brother, I was like, "Do you have an Xbox controller like lying around, like either like Xbox One?" He's like, "Yeah, let's go." So he ran down and grabbed that, and like it took no time to really hook it up, and I was playing. We played High on Life, and then quickly shut that off because there was people around. And jumped into like the menu of Fortnite, and then played some Paw Patrol. Like nothing really intensive, but like it looked good. It played good. The lag on Paw Patrol was fairly minimal. I beat a stage anyway, and yeah, it was fine. Like it was a good way to play. So I like that. Just get it to people, right? Like
Absolutely.
if you don't have a newer Samsung TV, like here's the way to go. Like I like that idea.
Yeah, it's funny because my LG OLED, which I just got, had supported Stadia, like right on board. So I tried some Stadia on it. It doesn't have Xbox Game Pass, which I'm like, if it can do Stadia, it can do Game Pass. It's very weird, but it supports all Bluetooth controllers, so I can do a PS5 and all this. So I think that's great. I really think that's the gateway for Xbox, and hopefully they'll listen to me and get my Game Cloud Game Pass or Game Plus Stream for $5 a month and get rid of Xbox Gold in 2023 as well. My gaming will be, we will see a trailer and a release date for the Indiana Jones game by, and the only reason I'm doing this Xbox because it is by an Xbox studio now, by Machine Games, Machine Games, who makes the Wolfenstein games, which I absolutely love. Because Indiana Jones is coming out this year. I hope we see a trailer for that before the movie comes out, and they say it's coming out this fall. You've seen the movie, you love that. Now you can play as Indiana Jones. I would love that because we have not had a good Indiana Jones game since that really clunky Indiana Jones game, which you can play on Xbox now if you want to.
Yeah, it would be so cool to see that game trailer up on the screen before the movie, like as during the previews and trailers and stuff.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we find out that it's Mutt. You're playing as Mutt in the game. Oops. Did I spoil that? They told me not to give that away.
Apparently, I'm sure you guys covered this, and I'm still catching up on some podcast listening that I missed. But they will explain what happened to Mutt during this movie, but he will not be in it.
Apparently, which is just an odd thing. But I mean, is it 15 years since the Crystal Skull? So yeah,
on the way back to his home planet.
That's right. He's been poochied. He's part of the Disney Corporation. You're allowed to do that then.
Absolutely.
All right. So I'll put that in. I'll update my announcements after that. Let's see. So Nintendo, Mark. So this is going to be a weird year for Nintendo because it's a lot of will they, won't they?
For me, there's only one Nintendo prediction that I need to make, that I want to make, that they should listen to me when I say we need a new Wave Race game. You gave us Virtual Console or whatever you call it, Nintendo Switch Online. It's time. Wave Race.
Mark, I'm happy to
That's my
announce that
only prediction.
Nintendo will announce that Switch Sports will be getting a jet ski mode.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's about as best as I'll get, but
And
I'm holding out hope.
And they'll call it Wave Face. Sorry, Mark. I don't mean to hurt you.
Yeah, you're hurting my soul. I'm sticking to it. Wave Race. That's it. That's all I want.
Wave Race. I love it. I love it. It's didn't they do a Wave Race on the Labo?
I don't know.
They probably will. It's like, here's your monkey paw, Mark. Let's hope you have your Labo left. We're not making any more.
You're making me sad, Todd.
Sorry. Oh, well, I gave my Labo to Sean Nias' son, Henry. So we're in the same boat.
I still have my Labo gun VR thing around here somewhere. I'm sure it's up in a closet, but no, I want a real Wave Race game.
Okay. Yeah, they haven't really done any racing games like outside of Mario Kart. Oh, well, we'll see what they do. So for me, because this is really hard for me because Nintendo's dropped all of their big franchises and Zelda's kind of the last one that kind of is like, here it is. What I think they will do, because the Mario movie's coming out. Everybody's excited for it. And I don't think they can just say, well, we have a Mario game for you. And it's Mario Odyssey, which is now, almost 6 years old. We can't say it's Mario 3D World, and that's almost 3 years old. I think they've got to announce a new 3D Mario game, because that team has not really done anything since Bowser's Fury. And Bowser's Fury didn't take 8 years to make. So I would love a new 3D Mario game. And I'm going back to say that I think this will be the Mario in Time game, because we saw the dinosaur level and that was so cool. But I want Mario to go through time. I want him to go to be the prehistoric man. I want him to be in Roman times. I want him to go in the future and fight aliens. And I want to see him wear wacky clothes and do wacky things in time. And they could use elements from that. So that's what I want. A new 3D Mario game in 2023.
Cool. I like it.
Or I think they will. I don't want it. It's going to happen. This is my prediction.
That's it. Has to happen now.
It has to happen.
For PlayStation, I really racked my brain for this one, and it's similar to something I said last year, because I remember my PlayStation prediction from last year. But I'm changing it to a new IP.
Ooh.
PlayStation is announcing a new IP, first-person shooter, and it's going to be gritty to compete with Call of Duty, just in case the Microsoft deal does actually go through. Details are going to be pretty scarce. We're going to get a good-looking kind of sizzle reel, a lot of CG, no gameplay, probably a name of the new IP or something, maybe a couple of voice actors or whatever is going to feature in it. But yeah, I think they're preemptively going to just kind of get ahead of this. What if Call of Duty is associated with Xbox again? And they're going to try something new.
I like that, because PlayStation has some history in FPSs. They have SOCOM, which I think is they abandoned. They abandoned Killzone.
That was my prediction last year, was they come back to Killzone. This year, I think if they didn't already come back to Killzone, that's why I'm changing it to a new IP.
Yeah, because Resistance is the other FPS shooter, and various levels of success with those. I really loved Resistance 1 and 3. 2 was horrible, but I just love that series. Insomniac making that those first person shooter games with the weapons were excellent. It was like Ratchet and Clank but gritty, which I loved because the weapons were just awesome. And Guerrilla is now making Horizon, but I think it would be great to see them, because they're going to be making a VR game. It'd be great to see them what they could do with a new Killzone where they've got more talent, more experience. But to your point, Mark, and they bought Bungie. People forgot that they bought Bungie. Bungie is probably 1, 2, or 3 in regards to FPS, and they've got that experience, multiplayer, all those things. So they could definitely do it. It's a great prediction. I think that'd be great because they've got to get beyond the third person story type of game. From that perspective, they've got to do more. So it's time.
Yeah.
Any predictions on who would actually develop that?
Ooh, no, I didn't give it that much thought.
Perfect. It's going to be the team that did Little Big Planet.
Could be a new team. Actually, okay. I'm going to say new team. Maybe even a new studio solely dedicated to this game. It's not going to be, they're not like, hey, they're working on this while they're working on Horizon, or they're working on this while they're working on what. No, this is like the team. This is going to be like their Treyarch or whatever. Like this is going to be their baby.
Got it. Very good. So for myself, PlayStation's going to be the year of VR2. We obviously have heard about Spider-Man is the only real other game besides Forspoken and MLB The Show that's announced. They haven't laid out their cards, so I'm a little nervous about that. I don't know I don't want them to get too preoccupied with VR because it's going to be a niche for most people. I'm not going to get it, so for me, I want games I can play. This is going to be my prediction. We're going to get a full fat Astrobot platformer. That will be both for VR and as a standalone game. So basically it'll be playable in VR, like the Astrobot Adventure, which people said that could have just been a standalone platform. We have the Astrobot game on PlayStation 5, which experienced all things, which was wonderful. I'm like, I want to play more of that, and more people do, and they love the speed runs. So yeah. I think we're going to get that because Sony and Xbox both, too largely, have lacked all ages games, and Astrobot is all ages. He's not decapitating people. He's not doing raunchy humor. He's not doing that stuff. He's just cute and adorable like Sackboy. So I think Astrobot's becoming the mascot of PlayStation, but he's got to have a game that everybody can play more than just a demo. So I would really love to see that a Team Asobo do that. I think that Astrobot game needs to come to PlayStation VR 2. And I think we need a new game that everyone can play because they showed everyone loved it. And it's been about 2 years. So that's my prediction.
I like that. Similar, again, my Xbox prediction last year was a new Banjo game. And I think both PlayStation and Microsoft could benefit from those types of family-friendly games.
Yeah.
I almost just kept my prediction from last year for Xbox, which, I think they should do some family-friendly stuff. I came up with Everwild instead because I wanted to do something different, but like just as valid. I really think they should lean on some of those IP, and why not Banjo? But if they come up with something new, cool. But Astrobot, man, yeah, they could. I mean, in the year of Mario, like, why not give the plumber a run for his money with like an amazing platformer? I think if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Astrobot.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cannot wait. So we get to third party. This one's huge because it encompasses everybody but the platform holders. But obviously there's less and less of those that are out there. So Mark, do you have any we know that like Ubisoft is near and dear to your heart. But I think we already know we're getting the Assassin's Creed game. They've been kind of tight to the vest on the other games that are coming out for them. So beyond that, we've got our Capcom, we've got our Take-Two, which does like your Rockstar games. We've got Konami that never puts out any games except for collections eventually. Anybody big that I'm forgetting from a third party? EA is putting out Jedi. Any other big third parties that you can think of that might be doing something cool this year?
No, when I was trying to think of a prediction for third parties, I was at first going to Assassin's Creed, but they've kind of showed a lot of what they're going to do. And I think we'll see more of that. in, you know, some of their different projects, and more than just the quick trailers that we got during the was it Assassin's Creed 15-year celebration that was a little earlier this year. But I went with something different, and I think after some leaks and more than enough time, we're finally going to see GTA 6. We're going to see it. They're going to show it off. They're going to show gameplay. They're going to tell us what it's all about. It's going to be a big thing. But they're also going to announce that GTA Online is not like getting a GTA Online 2 or, you know, a 6 version of this. They're just going to keep going with like ongoing improvements. Like they just dropped one today, like a new story chapter or something like that. So I think they're just going to keep going with that. I don't think like, you know, if you get GTA 6, like you'll get GTA Online with it, but it's not going to be a different experience from what you're playing right now. And I think that's going to be a little controversial for some people some people want an all new online, and other people will be like, good, I spent $6 billion in character customizations and stuff. So it's going to divide the fan base a little bit, but they're just going to keep it ongoing, and it's going to be, that's their online ongoing component. But we'll see some stuff from 6 obviously work its way through, but the single player is going to be the focus on 6.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one, because I mean it's funny, we've had now GTA 5 on 3 generations of consoles. It's time.
Yeah.
And they can just continue the online part without, and they can just add in a new map or whatever that in brings in whatever's new and cool about GTA 6. And yeah, that'll happen. So yeah, I think, yeah, you're right. It's time. I mean, it's been way too long. I actually finally bought GTA 5 to play on my PlayStation 5 because they did update it, but I've never played it. I mean, I played a little bit, but I don't know why. Just those games have never. But I should play them because they're important. Yeah, yeah. So for myself, I mean, if you think about third-party publishers at this point, you know, we assume Activision Blizzard will eventually go into Microsoft. Maybe, who knows? That's a crazy thing. EA, Bandai Namco, Take-Two, Ubisoft, Square Enix, Konami, Sega, and Capcom, I think, are the big ones. For myself, Capcom is one of my favorite third-party publishers. And what I would love to see them do, what they've done with Resident Evil, is bring back Onimusha. They brought back like kind of like a crappy, like just a refresh of Onimusha 1, which wasn't very good. It just seems like they did the least amount they could. But I love that style of, it's Resident Evil, but it is in, you know, medieval Japan, especially after Ghost of Tsushima and what they did. But do a true remake like Resident Evil with the Onimusha games. I know they struggle because the actor they have apparently is a Japanese actor and they use his likeness. Don't do that. Just don't use that guy. Like, just generic person is now our lead character, so they have to worry about paying an actor who maybe might be dead. But I would love that because I think it's such a cool series. I mean, and Capcom really flourished in the Xbox 360 era, but they kind of left Onimusha behind during that. And I just feel it's a time to bring Onimusha back. I love that franchise. And I would just love to see it come back and be awesome. I think Onimusha still to this day has some of the best cinematics. I love it. So Onimusha remake. Let's go.
Awesome. Great prediction.
It's a deep cut. I think there's 3 people said, yes, God, we want that. The rest of people are like, what? Yeah.
I should have pulled something wacky out too, like Zack and Wiki remake for Switch.
I almost said Okami, because Okami for many people is one of the best Zelda-like games of all time.
Yeah.
Good. So good. Such a good use of like the drawing. I played it on PlayStation. I played on PlayStation 2 with the sticks, but it's perfect for like Wii because you are using using control mechanics to use the screen. But oh well, they didn't listen to me apparently. Yeah. No. Didn't bring it back.
Yeah, I'll go with Zach and Wiki Capcom. That's a good third person.
Didn't they have like weird
deep cut.
you did like weird motion things like, hey, I'm turning a crank.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
Capcom? Who did that game?
Yep. That was
Okay.
Capcom. Yep.
See, it's perfect because the Switch can do that.
Yeah, exactly. You get the gimmicky part of things. Yeah, that game needs a remake.
Mark, nobody even mentioned in their predictions that Nintendo will bring out a new online system in regards to like GBA or anything like that, or GameCube. So I guess we know.
I'm really hoping to see. I don't think they're going to do GameCube. I'm really hoping. I'd love to see Game Boy, but
I want GBA. Because then you can play. They say
Game Boy GBA.
It's backwards compatible. You say, "Hey, Nintendo, it's backwards compatible with GBA." You just put that cart in the GBA online system. It'll play GB and GB Color. See, Mark?
When I think of Game Boy, I include Advance in that because I don't think Game Boy games are enough of a draw. Like I think you need some Game Boy games, like the Zelda games, and,
Mario Land,
Super Mario Land 2, especially. Like the 1 is fine, but 2 is amazing.
The Pokemon games. Would they put the Pokemon games on there?
That kind of stuff.
Would they do it, or do you think they're like, no, we're not doing it. We're charging you $20 like those games?
No, because they haven't. Like they put them on 3DS.
Okay. Do they have any? Console. They don't have. Are any of the Pokemon games from N64 on NSO?
Pokemon Snap.
Okay, so and they're doing Stadium, right?
Stadium.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure.
So yeah, I think that'd be a good call.
I do too, because I love the GBA. That was my first handheld, and I loved it. And I did play some Game Boy Color and Game Boy games on it too, like Link's Awakening.
Yeah, another amazing game.
Yeah. Well, that is our predictions, folks. Call us out if we said something stupid, because I never do.
No,
there's always a first. So that is it. This is your last episode of Co-op Mode in 2022. It's been a pleasure. So, Mark, tell people where they can find you in 2022 and beyond.
You can find me at @the_Canardian on Instagram and Twitter, and TikTok, and in the Secret Friends Unite Discord.
Excellent. Yeah, our Discord's awesome. Just to say, we had people in here. We're having a great time. We're getting overrun by Star Trek people, but you know what? They are great people too. We need more Star Wars. We need people in video games.
Great.
Yeah, it's been great. Awesome. You can follow me at Toxtra. Since fantasy football season is over, I'm far less annoying. Just having a good time, sharing awesome experiences with people online that I really care for. And then you can follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter, secretfriendsunite.com, our Discord group. I'm actually in Hive as well, which, it came back.
Me too. Just Canardian. Yep.
Yeah, it came back. I'm at Todd of War. So I actually had a little bit of fun time with my name. So at Toxtra, at Todd of War. Check out Hive. It's a kinder and gentler place. A lot less. It's not like Mos Eisley, folks. So check it out there. See, Mark, I know Star Wars. Join us. Check out our content, folks. If you rate us, we'd love a rating on iTunes or any of the services we're on, because it lets more people find us. So thank you. And we're really excited about 2023. Cool things are coming at Secret Friends Unite. So with that, Mark, awesome. Another great year with you, my friend. It's been awesome. It's always great to do this. I look forward to this every time because I love talking about video games and I love hanging out with my favorite Canardian.
Me too, man. It's been, if I sound rough today, you can imagine how rough I sounded 2 weeks ago. Basically just no voice whatsoever. So hopefully in 2 weeks, it'll just be back fully and I'll be ready to go. But yeah, man, I look forward to 2023 and more video game chats with you and our community.
Absolutely. So folks, thank you for joining us on this video game journey. It's always better to game together.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow @SecretFriendsU on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.